Yeah, buddy. All right. Okay, first of all, the exciting part. Oh, it's so pretty. It's so shiny. Oh, look how tiny that is. Ooh, here we go. Yeah, buddy. Oh, wow. That goes in really nicely. How do I unfold this? Okay. Rear arms, downwards, front arms, backwards. Cool. How do I remove the gimbal clamp? Oh, okay. Oh, that's a pretty big battery. And I've got the Japanese end finally, so I don't need an adapter anymore. Powering on and off. Press the power button once, then press and hold for 2 seconds before first use. Fully charge the battery to activate it. Damn it! Oh, I am so excited. So yeah, as you can see, I bought the Mavic Air. I used to have the DJI Spark and I loved the Spark so much, but then the Air came out and it was gonna be like, in my opinion, at least twice as good quality-wise. The pure fact that I can just fold this thing down like this and then put it in a tiny ass little bag like this one, if I can do it without breaking it. Like that's it. And then I can also take the little controller joysticks off so I can like put this in my pocket if I wanted to. This is amazing. This is the future. This is small and minimal and compact. Actually like very, very mobile. Whereas I didn't like the fact that the Spark is very small, yes, but it doesn't fold down at all. And even like the bag that they give you, like stuff doesn't actually fit in it fully. I don't know, I wasn't a huge fan of the mobility of the DJI Spark, but I'm really impressed so far with the Mavic Air and I'm so excited to use it. With that being said, I'm living in Japan at the moment and I do get lots of people asking me if you're even allowed to use drones in Japan. Japan is very strict on a couple of laws, on many laws actually, and drones used to be one of them. So way back when drones first became a thing, when people could just buy like a regular drone, there was a guy, some idiot who decided to fly radioactive sand over the Prime Minister's house, or he tried to at least. Because of that produced a huge security risk. Therefore, the government decided that drones are banned. Well, maybe not. I don't know if they were completely banned, but the laws were very, very, very strict in the fact that you could pretty much not fly them anywhere in Japan. It was almost impossible. So lots of people have assumed then that drones are illegal in Japan. However, since 2015, they've relaxed the laws quite a bit. And actually, Prime Minister Abe, the Prime Minister of Japan, he's an advocate for drones. He thinks they're the way of the future, and they're already starting to put in place procedures in which they can start testing drone delivery by Amazon, which is actually in my area, which is really exciting. So I really hope that starts when I'm in Japan because I would love to see that in action. Also, yes, I'm sitting on the ground. That's because I don't have a couch yet. Yay, the joys of moving in. So yes, like I was saying, the short answer is yes, you can fly drones in Japan. They're not illegal at all, but there are quite a few laws that you need to adhere to. They're not completely crazy or strict or anything in comparison to other countries that I've seen so far, but they do have a lot of laws and they can lead to a fine of up to 500,000 yen, which I think is $5,000 roughly, somewhere around that. So yeah, these are some of the things that you should definitely be wary of. So the first one, surprisingly, you don't need a license to fly a drone in Japan. So I know in the USA, from what I've read, you need to have a license to fly drones commercially, but Japan, you don't need that, which is pretty great. You can just get one and fly it as long as you adhere to the following rules. So the main big law is to make sure that you don't fly it over densely populated areas, which is over 4,000 people per square kilometer. This is all information that I've gotten directly off the drone law website that's translated into English. So like most cities around the world, you cannot fly your drone anywhere near airports. So that is within 9 kilometers of airports. So if you go onto the DJI website, they've got this fly safe area, you can click on that, and then that will take you to a map of whichever area that you want to check out. So if you go to Japan, in Tokyo, you can see this big red area in the middle. This is a densely populated area, so you cannot fly in these areas. And you can also notice they've got these big circles here, and these are going around airports, so definitely do not fly it in there. Anything outside of this red area is pretty much fair game, and the maximum height that you can fly your drone anywhere in Japan is 150 meters. I feel like it's a bit lower than Australia, but I don't know. I think you can see a lot of things from 150 meters, so I think that's fine. You must keep it at least 30 meters away from people and buildings and vehicles, including vehicles that are in the water, so keep that in mind when you're flying over, you know, boats and things. You cannot fly them at nighttime. You must also fly them within a direct line of sight, so you have to be able to see them at all times. You cannot carry hazardous material with it, such as explosives, obviously, and you cannot attempt to carry anything with it that could drop. So yes, be very careful of trying experiments and things with drones in Japan, which I know are very popular online. So anything that could pose a danger to anyone underneath it is a definite no. Another one is that in Tokyo's metropolitan city area, in any of their 81 parks, you cannot fly your drone, which is a bummer, I know, for the people that want to fly drones over like temples and stuff like that, but just not in Tokyo. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. You could get a fine of up to $5,000. So if you do want to fly your drone over a densely populated area, like a festival or something like that, or if you want to fly within 9 kilometers of an airport, or if you want to fly above 150 meters, you can download a form. I'll put all the links in the description down below, and fill in the form and then send it into, what's it called? The Ministry of Land Infrastructure, MLIT, and then cross your fingers and pray that they say that it's okay. I've heard, however, that this does take a couple of weeks to do, so if you're going to travel there and you want to film things specifically, make sure that you get permission way ahead of time that you need to, because it's going to take a lot of time, unfortunately. I feel like Japan gets a lot of these applications. You know, they're still working through them. As long as you are keeping those rules in mind, I think that you should be safe. Now, with that said, I remember a while ago, Yoshi and I were flying our first drone, the DJI Phantom something or other, and we were trying to fly that in a place in Osaka. It was like just outside of Osaka, I think. So I think technically it was like a densely populated area, but we were flying it in an area that literally had nothing around. It was like a flat piece of grass area, and we were flying it over water. Anyway, we weren't flying it high or anything like that. So we were basically within our rights to fly it there. However, I guess technically on the map we weren't. But anyway, he wasn't a police officer, but he was a law enforcer, I guess like a security guard, and he told us off saying, you cannot fly them here, definitely not. Even if we were technically within our rights to do that, there are still some police officers or security guards, law enforcers, that aren't all that keen on people flying drones in Japan. I think because it's kind of a relatively new thing. Maybe not everyone is fully up to date or confident with the terms and conditions of where you can and cannot fly it. So to be safe, they will tell you, no, you cannot fly it here. Even if you kind of know exactly, like you are allowed to fly it there, unless you can speak adequate Japanese enough to be able to argue that fact, I would just recommend just, you know, putting it away and apologizing later. So with that being said, if you do know that you're within your rights and you know that you can safely fly it there and you're not gonna hurt anybody in the process, obviously, I would still try and be a bit discreet with it, just in case, because, you know, there are definitely some people that would just rather say no just in case so that they don't get in trouble for it. But if you know that you're within your right and legally you are allowed to fly there, but you just aren't really confident saying that in Japanese, then yeah, just try and be like a little bit quiet about it. Get your shot, be efficient, bring it back down, and then if someone gets you in trouble, just say, oh, I'm so sorry, I thought that it's safe to fly here. Hope that's cool. I think generally that should be fine. Maybe don't take my word on it, but that's what Yoshi and I have done in the past in areas that we know have been safe to fly in, but people have still said no anyway. You just apologize, you say, yeah, sorry, it won't happen again, and move on to another safe area. Yeah, just be safe. So in general, if you want to fly your drone in Japan, flying it in Tokyo, definitely no. Flying it in the countryside, probably. Flying it in the countryside near buildings and over people, definitely no. If you're flying it in the countryside, away from people, away from buildings, but also within some kind of area where there's a big infrastructure or some kind of, you know, temple or something like that, just double check that it's allowed, because some buildings may have their own specific law or preference against drones, so just double check that. If you want to fly it in the park on the countryside, I would say, yeah, that sounds like a pretty safe, as safe an option as it can get, really. Some of the countrysides are very lacking in people. That's not no. There's not many people. All of this information can be found online. There's like so many websites. I put down the website that I found all of my information from, which was the Drone Laws in Japan website translated into English. So I'll put all those in the description down below. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you found it helpful in any way, please let me know in the description. Let me know in the comments below and tell your friends. I hope that you've enjoyed this and that it's been helpful to you. And if you want to see more stuff like this, I usually make travel videos and expat living in Japan kinds of things. Subscribe and I'll see you next time. Bye!